Process of self-purification through yoga. Says Arjun to Sri Krishna, O Krishna, the mind is very unsteady, turbulent, tenacious, and powerful. To me, it seems as difficult to control as the wind. Says Sri Krishna to Arjun, the mind is undoubtedly restless, but it can be controlled by continuous practice, that is Abhyas, and supreme non-attachment to sensory objects, which is known as Vairagya. Before we understand the yoga techniques of Abhyas and Vairagya, let us understand what causes unsteadiness and impurity of your mind. In his Yoga Sutras, Maharshi Patanjali explains that you are born with 5 inherent and deep-rooted afflictions or Klesha. Your Klesha veil your purity, disrupt your stability, and constantly pull you towards impurity. They are the cause of your constant pain and suffering. All your Klesha are interconnected. Avidya, or spiritual ignorance, is the origin of all Klesha. From Avidya arise 4 more Klesha. Asmita, or a false sense of me and mine. Raga, or attachment. Dvesha, or aversion. And Abhinivesha, which is a fear of extinction. The Klesha color your vision completely. They prevent you from seeing the truth. Your Klesha will only allow you to see what is impure. You fail to realize each one's divinity because your own divinity is veiled by your Klesha. The Klesha work together to pull you down the spiritual ladder. The longer you ignore your Klesha, the stronger and more deeply rooted they will get. Here is an example of how your invisible Klesha constantly manifest within you and drive you towards impurity without your knowledge. You ignorantly think owning a Mercedes will give you happiness. This is Avidya. You buy yourself this grand car and acquire an impure identity, proud owner of Mercedes. This is Asmita. Someone crashes into your precious car. You feel pained by the physical damage. This is Raga. It is a total identification with everything and everyone who brings you happiness. When you look at your damaged car, you want to hurt the person who has caused you pain. This destructive negativity is Dvesha. It is a visible manifestation of your invisible fears. From the moment you buy your beloved Mercedes, you secretly dread that someone will ruin it for good and that you will lose it forever. This is Abhinivesha. The more you fear that you will lose something, the tighter you cling onto it. Thus you constantly move backwards. Your fears delude you into mistakenly believing that the transient is eternal. Thus you get attached to all that is impure. You seek pleasure from all that is painful and identify with everything that is non-pure. Thus your Klesha cause you to remain stuck in bondage. They are the cause of all your pain and suffering. At the mental level, your Klesha destroy your ability to think clearly. At the physical level, these impurities cause illnesses and diseases. At the spiritual level, they prevent you from reaching God. The entire practice of yoga is dedicated to the removal of your pain-causing Klesha. Yoga means shedding all your impure thoughts, words, and deeds, and adopting the purest way of living. When your impure Klesha are removed, you will realize your inherent purity and supreme divinity. In his supreme song, the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna mentions 2 integrated tools for removing your Klesha. These are Abhyasa and Vairagya. Maharshi Patanjali explains both these tools in his Yoga Sutras. Abhyas is your constant and uninterrupted spiritual practice, performed with utmost devotion. It is your lifelong commitment to self-improvement, which ultimately leads to purity and inherent stillness. Vairagya is supreme non-attachment to worldly desires. It is total renunciation of all anti-spiritual pursuits. Abhyas and Vairagya are integral to each other. Devoted practice leads to detachment, and detachment deepens devoted practice. Abhyas comprises the practice of a supreme threefold technique of yoga: self-discipline, self-improvement, and self-surrender. These techniques are known as Tap, Swadhyay, and Ishwar Pranidhan. If you adhere to this threefold technique of Abhyas and Vairagya, you will remove your Klesha quickly and certainly reach God. A detailed explanation of your Klesha and how you can purify yourself through Tap, Swadhyay, and Ishwar Pranidhan has been lucidly illustrated in an e-book, Pathway to God Essential Patanjali Yoga Sutras. Download your free copy right away from www.youaredivine.co.in.